Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meticulous Talks on July 10th. I am Chords.
I'm Hithroc.
Pleasure to speak with you again, Hithroc.
Hi, you too.
What?
Been 2 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. What madness do we have to talk about this week?
It's just a couple of cards. Nothing too mad. Though there are a couple weird ones. We have one ultra rare coming up.
Okay. You know I like weird.
Yes, it's unusual, I would say that. We have a couple of other interesting cards which have some unique things to them. So you'll see.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For anyone unaware, these are going to be cards from the open beta. I have avoided all the spoilers, so they're all totally brand new to me. Hithroc has seen them before. Obviously, he's the one who picked them out. And we have, I think, 13 of them this week.
Yeah.
And we're just going to be going through them. So let's go.
Yeah, let's dive right into it.
Okay. Orange entry with a 3, I suppose is relevant. 3 power, 3 cost. If you control no orange friends, you pay 1 AT less to play this card. Seems likely that this is... I'm just going to guess right away that there's a cycle of these. Or is it...
You don't know.
I don't know. It seems like the kind of thing that you would want to give all the colors rather than necessarily just orange.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's a really good entry if you're playing it as entry.
Yeah, and usually cycle cards have like the same ability for the last 6 sets, probably more than that, since the Question Odysseys, right?
Pretty much, yes. Even
before that, yeah.
Yeah, like even Absolute Discord.
Absolute Discord, we had Discord, and then Crystal Games, we had something.
Oh, well, I mean, there were like the cycle of bad entry cards from Crystal Games.
Oh yeah, the opposite of these cards, I guess.
Basically,
in a way.
Yes.
So yeah, it would make sense that. But do you think it's a cycle of if you control no friends, do something, or all of the cards have this exact text?
That's the question. You would certainly assume that it would be if you control no color, friends pay 1 AT less. You could change it up though.
Yeah.
I mean, that would imply that orange is going to have an easier time of it to some extent.
Well, maybe other abilities would be just as powerful as 1 AT.
Could be, yes. And it's interesting because, like, this makes these colors stronger specifically from a secondary and even tertiary place. Like, this card would not be run in a deck that had an orange main. And so it necessarily... Sorry, go ahead.
It's kind of the opposite of Sequestria entry cards, which did something when you had that color already.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But this one is the opposite. They only do something... Well, they only have the effect when...
Right.
When you don't have that color.
I suppose... Yeah, it's not the color, strictly speaking. It's whether you have any orange friends or not. So even if your main is orange, if it's the first friend you play, you would still get that discount.
Yeah, but like when your main is orange, you'll probably have orange friends very soon. Unless your deck does something extraordinary.
Seems
like there are decks that use mains of other colors than what they play, but still.
Yeah, I guess if your main is orange, you probably have 3 orange rec already anyway, because you're playing Discord or Grogar, one assumes.
Yeah. I mean, there is Smolder. She's fine.
True. This would
And
be
there's that exhaust Applejack line. The orange has some mains now.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Great card and limited though. I can tell already for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And presumably, if it is a cycle, unconfirmed, but if it is, presumably all of them would be great cards and limited. Also an Earth Pony. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Another one where the flavoring's not done, but we already know this card's going to be an Earth Pony.
It's gonna be Trixie.
I would be a little surprised, but not impossible.
Yeah.
We have had Trixies with other traits before. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
I'm a firing my laser. Or sorry, ma laser. 3 power, 2 cost, 3 reckon, blue and purple, swift, unicorn. You discard a card for the first time each turn, gain an AT. Ooh. Well, now that is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're in... A lot of the ideas that come to my mind right away are things that require you to be tricolor. Like, oh, if I have a Pinky Sense, then Pinky Sense is just exhausted to gain an AT and discard a card.
Yeah, that's why this card is interesting. You don't really have a lot of discard synergies in these two colors. Neither blue or purple are like the colors that are known for discarding cards. It's mostly orange and pink, right? But you still have some. You have like Mysterious Disappearance. That's one that discards cards.
Yep.
You can also like hand limits are a thing in purple, especially.
Draw
So
big
that's
meta cards and then gain a bunch of AT when you discard them all.
well, only once per
right.
turn.
First time each turn. Correct. So you right. There's probably a very good reason for that. I will.
Yeah,
but
yeah, definitely. But like discarding to hand limit, I think is a really good use of this card because you only do it once per turn, and getting 180 for a card discarded, it's basically like having another card. It's good value. There's also this card is also useful for like against, like as a protection against, not protection, but like if you are facing against the mill deck, not a mill deck, but like orange that makes you discard cards. That's a good card to have, and it's good value as well. Like power efficiency, I mean.
Yeah. Even just as a 2-cost, 3 power Swift friend, that's pretty good already.
That said, I would still run Daring Do probably.
Oh, right. That Daring Do. Yeah, pretty tough to beat that one. The Swift Confront again, AT one. Pretty sure, yeah.
But yeah, as a sideboard card, I can see that happening. Or, I don't know. I'm not sure if you can build your deck around this card. Probably not. But you can think of something.
I mean, yeah, that's the interesting thing, as you mentioned. Like, a bunch of cards come to mind. It's like, oh yeah, of course you can build a discard powered aggro, but well, not in these colors.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was just purple, then like, oh yeah, just play purple orange. But this is a multicolor card, which makes it a little bit more difficult.
Right. And if you did do blue, purple, orange, that is
Ember.
That's Ember, yeah. And dragons in general, and that's not particularly discard focused.
Can you target yourself with Smolder? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so. Pretty sure Smolder has to be an opponent.
Yeah. Would be fun though.
Yeah. But I mean, this is a great example of a lock that's missing a key. And I love card design like that. So
yeah.
Love to see how it's, well, tinker about with it when I get a chance to.
Next card
Next card.
is also multicolor.
Getting over it. 1 cost. 1 power, 2 wreck. Blue and yellow. Definitely not a Pegasus. Makes sense, honestly. Well, let's see. Okay, yes. Agile. When you confront this card's problem, choose a problem. Your characters at that problem have +1 power until the end of the turn. Interesting. Yeah. Makes sense why that's not a Pegasus. A little bit too much extra synergy there. As I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, well, presumably you'd choose the other problem, the one you didn't just confront at, but, well, depends, right? If you're going for the double confront, then you choose the other problem. If you're going for the face-off, then you choose the problem that you just confronted.
Yeah.
Single face-off, that is.
But this card is also agile, so you can do a lot of tricks with it.
Oh, yes, you can get multiple triggers from it in one score phase, possibly.
Yes. The only question is it worth 280? And the answer could be yes, depending on the board situation. And knowing yellow can spawn a bunch of critters.
Yes. And well, we saw last week that the yellow in this set is kind of going, well, at least is continuing support for the kind of nurturing nature style where your characters are mostly at home, which is anti-synergistic with this. But blue-yellow has always been more the color about having lots of stuff at the problems, usually.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they be Pegasus tokens or critter tokens or whatever. And this card may not be a Pegasus, but you can absolutely still run it in that deck.
Yeah. Like, sure, it's not a Pegasus and won't get like power boosts or whatever, but it's still good. Getting 1 power for every character, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I would just like to mention Pancake in the chat mentioning the last card has a really great synergy and harmony with the Absolute Discord Sunset Shimmer UR.
Ah, yes, that one. Where you discard when your opponent plays a card. Oh no, I'm thinking of Luna.
Well, yeah. When your opponent plays a card, you get to discard a card of the same type.
Yes, that's
to gain an AT. Yes.
Yeah, and that card you would gain 2 AT. And since it would happen on the opponent's turn, there's unlikely you'll hit the limitation of once per turn.
Yeah. Harmony only, but well, harmony is where all the good combos are, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this seems like a pretty great addition. At the very least, is often going to be good, efficient to play, even if you're not going for the double confront. 1 AT, probably a lot of power at the problem you just confronted. And if you do have enough AT to agile it over, rather, then yeah.
Yeah. You can put a hat on it with Swift to make it Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with last card, though, the problem with this card for me is that it's overshadowed by Shoeshine this time, which is also a 1 cost friend with 1 power. But the ability, I think, is more powerful. Even though, like, sure, these 2 cards might have like different applications because their effects are different, but I still think like between this card and Shoeshine, like if I had to choose between one of them out of 2, I'd probably choose Shoeshine.
It makes sense. Like Shoeshine has a lot more value over time, given that like you set up your DFO, you have your critters on the board. Now next turn I just need to go Shoeshine, double confront. And I didn't even need to spend any AT to do that.
Yeah, the AT is like the main factor here, I think. Because this card, to use this card, you need to like move it, and you need to, what's the word? invest into it. There we go. And Shoeshine is way less, so you don't really need to invest in Shoeshine. Yeah, you need to retire friends, but you usually, like, Yellow doesn't have a problem with that, I think.
You've got some stuff at home or a bunch of tokens or whatever. Yeah. But whereas for this card to be good, you need to have characters at the problem.
And you have to move this card as well.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, blue has a lot of cheap moves, but that's still more cost than Shoeshine. But either way, cool card, and it's not like we need more really good cards for blue-yellow.
Well, I mean, you'd say that. I would certainly agree, given the current state of the meta. Maybe Sim is of the opinion that this set's got enough good stuff for everybody that it's okay to give a little bit more fun stuff to colors.
Yeah, but I mean, this card is good. Like, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just overshadowed by the other card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if Shoeshine wasn't a thing, I think this card would be fine.
Okay. Next card.
Next card.
I remember seeing this title as I was putting the cards together and be like, ooh, this sounds interesting. Thanos, 2 cost, 2 power, colorless. All players must resolve hand and home limits during each player's wrap-up step. Oh, now that is interesting.
Yes, you know how Control has a lot of like friends at problems because it never does double face-offs? And when you do a double face-off, you have to think about your home limit, but your opponent can just move everything back. Well,
Yes.
just play this card.
Yeah, that is such a power play to do the double face-off and turn it into a mass, like, well, effectively I mean, kind of. The opponent gets to keep 4 things usually.
Yeah, but if you play white, the opponent might keep less than 4 things, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot like, what's the card? The white card that says everyone gets to keep 3 things?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the name of that card, but I know which one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Friends Forever, I think? Or maybe not. Let me check.
It was in...
Oh, it was Sequester. It was an event.
Yeah. Cornered, I want to say, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, in the chat says cornered, so we're correct. Hooray.
Okay. Yeah, puts me in mind of that.
Yeah.
And that one was a 1 cost. It was a 1 cost event, right?
Yeah, but it was an event, and it wasn't white. But this one is colorless.
Right. Colorless, cost 2, comes with a 2 power body. Can be synergized with home limit reductions. That's pretty interesting. The hand limit part, probably not super relevant.
You say that, but then I come up with a mill deck which draws your entire deck into your hand. And play this card so you don't get to keep anything.
Wait. Are there ways to do that?
Drawing the entire deck for the opponent? Yes, but only in Harmony.
I see. Okay. Oh, right. Or, well...
I mean, we had the deck before. We just used Nightmare Moon for it to force the opponent to discard their hand before they get a chance to do something. But Nightmare Moon is not a thing anymore, so...
Mm-hmm.
That deck, if you're curious, that deck uses Ace.
Yeah, I thought, that was what I was thinking.
Yeah, because Ace draws cards without May on it. It's the only card that does that.
There's some movement trick you can do to make him go forever, yeah.
Yes. So yeah, it's a cool card. It's one of those rare symmetrical colorless cards. Like, I think the previous one had this EEA, and before that there's a bunch of them in Absolute Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Nightmare Moon where can draw more than 2 cards and so on.
So flavor means that this card is going to be a villain then, or well, a antagonist, right? It's usually
this cards usually do.
yeah,
I mean, it says Thanos in the name, so
somehow I doubt that's going to be flavor.
yeah. But my idea is that like he was an antagonist, right?
It's yes, very true. Also, at least this week, my Rorschach test for these placeholders is like all of them look like cowboys so far. This one looks like a cowboy for sure.
To me, this one looks like a golem. Like this, the top thing is the head. The middle thing is like the armor. I don't know, like chest,
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
two hands on left and right.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, that top one looks like a cowboy hat.
It's a cowboy golem.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, now, yeah, I believe there are a number of events that you included in this one.
Yeah, so the last stream had a bunch of friends and almost nothing else. So this time it's a little bit the other way around. We have a little bit of everything except friends. We didn't have a lot of friends.
Okay. So, building bridges. Cost 2, 3 flip, 2 blue requirement. At immediate speed, move up to 2 of your characters.
It's extreme sledding, but better.
Right. This is a reference to some earlier card, I think, isn't it?
Extreme sledding, yeah?
Well, yes. No. That name sounds familiar to me.
Oh, building bridges?
Yes.
Maybe you're thinking of burning bridges from Sequestria?
Yes, that's it. Correct.
That one moves at immediate speed to
Yep.
opposing characters. Yeah.
There we go. And GP was there with me. Thank you. Yeah, it's but that one costed 3, right?
Yeah, that one costed 3 and had 5 power, I think.
Which makes sense, yes. So for 1 AT less, you get to move 2 of your characters.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I mean, this card, like, again, this card is exactly like Extreme Sledding, except it has 1 less power, and the effect is immediate instead of main phase.
Right.
And, like, Extreme Sledding, like, saw play back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't a worthless card. It was played, I think, from what I remember at least. So this is just a straight upgrade. Yeah, you flip, like, a little lower, but...
Yeah. In the readily imaginable situation where your main's got a staff, and you have, I don't know, some other character that's worth 3 power or whatever, this is, at the very least, going to be probably 2 AT confront a problem. And if you already confronted something off your regular main phase stuff, then easy DFO.
Yeah. I mean, people play Plushy Dash, and that costs 1 more, but you also get a friend, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the event version of Plushy Dash, which is pretty good.
Oh, right, yeah. Which means, yeah, this is great for Blue Farm, too.
Yeah, you can... This is great for my blue-purple farm. Control farm. But there's another card that's also good as well, which is coming up.
I see. Wow. Pretty, I mean, yeah. Not a whole lot to say, probably. Pretty evident how what it's for and what it does.
Mm-hmm. I mean, mostly because we have Plushy Dash, and like we already saw how good that card is, and what kinds of things you can use it for. And this card is kind of similar. Yeah, it's nice to see a good, powerful blue event.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time we got a really powerful blue event? Sonic Rainbow doesn't count.
Yeah, Rainbow was the first one that came to my mind, too. Would you count Sepakli attack?
No, like if we're counting Sepakli attack, we probably should include 2 Griffinstone. Oh no, what's the name of that card? The one that frightens a friend for 1.
Stop Fighting.
Yeah, there you go, that one.
I mean,
that one is good.
Yeah, that's not bad, honestly. Okay,
right.
next one. Benign
So,
Transposition. Oh, sorry?
yeah, this one is weird. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, okay. 1 cost, immediate speed, 3 rec, purple, 4 flip. At immediate speed, choose one of your characters at a problem, and another one of your characters not at that problem. Send each of those characters to the other's location. Ho. Interesting. So the send is of course important because sends are not moves.
Mm-hmm.
So you get around can't move taxes, get around showy, you
So
get around can't
for,
move. So sorry, go ahead.
for all intents and purposes, this is like swapping two characters' places without actually portaling them.
Yes. There's nothing that can stop a send from happening, right?
No. Not that I know of. Like, that's why this card is weird. There's so few things that interact with sending stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I'm not sure if we had a card before which allowed you to specifically send the character somewhere. It's usually move.
It
I guess,
was what was the reliving history?
does that one send it? Oh, yeah, that one sends it back. Yeah.
Mhm.
But still, it was like very specific and rare. And this one is like more general.
Right.
Gets around Flurry Heart as well.
Yes.
For me, what's interesting about this card is that it gets around Storm King Troublemaker.
Yes.
So if you really want to farm the Troublemaker, you can swap two characters' places, like a main, for example, that maybe happens to have a stick
Mm-hmm.
for just 1 AT at immediate speed too. Like,
Yeah, that's the first thing that I think about too. If you have any character at Storm King's problem, then for 1 AT you have your most powerful character at that problem.
well, you have to choose a character at home, right? But
No, not necessarily.
it's not that problem. Yeah, okay, never mind. So yeah, the only requirement here is having a character with the problem where you want to have some other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's immediate as well, like it opens up a bunch of tricks. Like if you're playing, I don't know, pink purple with the centric, you could swap a thing with the centric to a problem, or
Mm-hmm.
prepared, or like you can have some immediate effect. Like it's basically like moving a character except not moving,
Yeah,
and for just 1 AT, and then purple.
it's a lot. You can do a lot of the things with this that you could do. Well, a lot of the non-abusive things that you could have done with Portal before.
Yes. Yeah, and that's a good way to put it. It's basically non-abusive portal for 1 AT.
Kind of, yeah. And you can't interact with your opponent's stuff with it.
No. I mean, purple already has a bunch of stuff that does things to your opponent, so I think this card would actually be less interesting if it didn't have your character restriction.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's sky's the limit, and in terms of the kind of stuff that you could bring into play there.
Pancake points out that this card is different to Portal because it doesn't trigger ETB. Well, that's why we call it a non-abusive Portal.
I mean, yeah, triggering ETB was the thing that made Portal really, well,
So good.
yeah, problematic. Not problematic. Well, I mean, yes, problematic, but at the same time, kind of not. Oh, it's definitely weaker than Portal. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're not saying that it's like always just as good as Portal. We're saying that this has a lot of the same applications that Portal would have if it didn't trigger ETB.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I like this card a lot.
It's a nice cheap. It's getting into that cheap trick area. This would go into my purple. Oh yeah, this would go into my purple aggro deck so easily.
Yeah, I mean, at the very worst, you can use it as a 180 move. But I guess you do have, like, you need to have a character,
Right.
which might be hard.
Yeah, it's like a 3 AT immediate move, kinda, because you need to pay 2 AT to put something else at the other problem, and then swap them.
I mean, you can play something, right? If you
Yeah.
play like a one power friend, which that is just an utility, and you would rather have some other friend there, you can just play it to a problem and then swap them.
Hmm.
Like, like AT generators, which you usually exhaust anyway.
Ah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So yeah, cool card.
Very cool card. I like these tricky purple events. Good stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
set to people who are not biased towards purple at all.
Yeah, of course, right? Okay. Real name on this card, apparently. Pony Pet Playdate. 2 cost, 4 flip, pink and yellow to wreck. In the main phase, put 2 Earth Pony friend tokens into play at a problem, then 2 Critter friend tokens into play at another problem. At the end of the turn, banish those friends. Interesting. Okay. So it's 2 AT for 4 power, even at its base.
Yes.
Is not bad. But there's a lot of fun things that you can do with those tokens.
Well, for one, creature synergies work, like Yona could get an extra creature, or those creatures might have more than 1 power, so this card might have a lot of value for just 2 ET, even though it's temporary.
Yep.
Another thing here is that, so now that I've talked about yellow synergist, if we look at pink, pink really likes to retire its own friends, and having some extra friends can help that.
Yep. Especially friends that are going to go away anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought of a couple of synergies that were all in orange, unfortunately.
Well, if you look at the other colors, there's even there's Sorin, who eats things to gain power. There is bodyguards. What else do we have? We have Shushine, obviously. So, like, if you start to venture into other colors, there's a lot of things that you can find.
Right. Yeah. Bodyguard, unfortunately, remember, it doesn't trigger on tokens leaving the board, at least the.
No, but you can retire things to look at the
But
problem.
yes, yeah, the problem thing for sure.
Obviously, belly flop.
Yep. Yeah, there's. Well, I suppose the synergies aren't appearing to me quite as obviously as the last one, because these aren't my colors.
Aren't they?
Once upon a time, yes. Not quite so much anymore. I've been in purple so much lately.
Would this go into your strawberry deck?
Would this go in? Not as it was originally built, I don't think. But
Yeah, that's fair.
it's been a long time since I last updated it. It could be. What is pink and yellow is the color are the colors with Treehouse, right?
Yes.
Which would make this oh yeah, 2 for 8 power. And actually, yeah.
GP points out Thorax, which is Thorax
Thorax.
is just straight up gets 4 power from this card.
Cost 4 friends and +4 to Thorax. Yeah, that's real good. Actually, Thorax pink is probably. I don't know if I've seen anyone do that before, but it makes a lot of sense. Yellow pink are like 2 big token generator colors when they're together.
Yeah. There's also the Tricorn Torx, who also synergizes with
Oh, yes,
token.
that's correct. Yes. GP is mentioning a deck to me. Black Pink with Lyra. That sounds familiar. I might have seen that at some point before. Yeah, I can't. I couldn't point to exactly which tournament that might have shown up at, but I might have. I'll have to look after the stream. Or, well, I guess I could look now. Where did you go? We're in. Yes. Do you remember off the top of your head which number Thorax is? He's Defenders of Equestria 100. 132. There he is.
Yeah, I don't remember such things from the top of my head.
No, I don't see Thorax Pink anywhere in Tia. At least not in the current version of it. Well, anyway, gonna leave off with that. I'll see if I can find it after the stream. It strikes me that a GP might be referring to one of the live gameplay videos that Sim makes, which unfortunately I haven't watched in a while. But anyway, enough of that. Cool looking event. Sure, it's got lots of stuff you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we move on?
Yep.
Okay. The
It's
resources.
It's an ultra rare.
That it is. White ultra rare resource. Cost 1, 3 rec, 3 flip. Play to your home. When you score 1 or more points, you may exhaust this card to gain an equal number of action tokens.
I promised you weird effects.
Absolutely. So how can you score more than 1 point at a time? Problem bonuses, obviously.
Rarity truly outrageous.
Yes. And her successor card, Rarity Pony Pirate.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Pony Pirate is only 2 points, and Rarity Truly Outrageous is up to 5.
I mean,
or actually more than that now, because we have the point raising cards.
This is correct, I suppose.
GP mentions beating Troublemakers, which is also a really good source of points.
Good point, that's correct. If Mistbane scores 2, is that counted as an instance of 2 points at once?
That is a good question. I think it is separate, but it depends on how exactly she's worded.
Mm-hmm.
Though it is unlikely that he will score 2 points with her, in general.
I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here.
It says, for each card put into player's hand this way, score a point. So I guess you score 1 point multiple times.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
It doesn't say, like, score that many points.
Right. Sure. I guess that's a good rule of thumb from when looking at any interaction with this card. What else?
Yeah, that's the thing about this card is, like, in a lot of cases, scoring a lot of points, you usually score a lot of points in, like, small quantities. So, like, big chunks of points usually come from either Troublemakers or problems.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, is fine. Like, this is clearly a really powerful effect. You are essentially getting rewarded for doing something that is its own reward, right? Normally, you're paying AT to score points, not gaining AT from scoring points. Oops,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
But you can see this card as a reduction of point cost. Like if you have Changeling Throne, you could exhaust Changeling Throne for 2 AT, score a point, and then exhaust this card to get one of the AT back.
Absolutely. Or yeah, any number of cards that function like that. Wasn't, well, the Seleno combo was blue-white for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Once, well, yeah.
I remember Captain Boo's in that deck.
Mhm.
And some other white cards, maybe.
And so, like, yeah, any deck like that that's kind of built around scoring points as fast as literally possible. This only costs 1. So if you can, like, fit it in there.
I want to point out that this card is not unique as well.
That is also true. That is also very true.
Like, if you really want, like, you can copy it with Stygian, and you
That's
can play
right.
multiple
You can
copies of it.
create token copies of this too, because it only costs 1.
Suddenly, Changeling Throne not only scores you points, but also generates AT.
I mean, that's starting to get into a little bit of work required to generate enough of these, but
Yeah, maybe it could be a combo deck.
Well, okay. Like, yeah, in the hypothetical situation where you had 5 of these in play, then all you need to do is score 3 points, which, beat a troublemaker or whatever, and that's 15 AT right there. Sorry, 15 points. Well, sorry, no, you're not multiplying points, you're multiplying AT. 15 AT.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you have a way to, like, continue creating copies of this and score points getting AT back.
Yes, that's reasonable. I'm wondering if you have something specific in mind.
No, but I think there is a territory to be explored.
It could be, yes. Do we have repeatable ways to create copies of resources? I imagine probably not.
Bouncing Stygian.
Yeah, okay, that works.
It's kind of hard to bounce Stygian, but it's not impossible.
Right. You would need a repeatable way to generate copies of this resource and a repeatable way to score points.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it doesn't have to be an OTK. You can maybe span it across several turns.
Could be. Well, I mean, yeah, your repeatable way to score points is Mistbane, presumably.
No, Mistbane just gives you 1 AT, which is kind of not enough, I think. Maybe there's some other point generation facilities to be explored. Like, now we actually care how many points we get per card.
Right. Anyway, I think we've done an excellent job at previewing the inevitable result of this card, which is combo theorizing sessions. I'm sure there's been plenty of that already in the open beta.
Yeah, I mean, this card is not, like, it's not just for combos, it's also good in general. Like, you can stick it into a deck, like an aggro deck.
Yeah, if you play this early and it sticks around, and it's going to pay for itself after you score 1 point. And
it's an AT gen and white.
After that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool, ultra rare.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like to see what our cat does for the flavoring on this one. Alrighty, next up.
Yeah, next up is a multicolor rare resource.
Correct. Saw a brief flash of it earlier. 2 cost orange and pink 3 rec 4 flip mirror pool. Unique. Play to your home. As one of your friend's triggered abilities triggers, you may pay 1 AT and exhaust this card to copy that ability. Oh boy, this is gonna require a search through the card database
For every single card.
for any single card. Yes, it's not just okay. Well, I mean, it is enters the board abilities, right? Yeah,
Yeah, all of them are triggered when this
all
card
of
enters
them,
play.
right?
All of them are triggers.
But a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah, like well, that's blue, but like Night Glider Overpowering is a triggered ability. You can double the points you get,
Hmm?
as well as many other point scoring things are triggered.
Right. So let's limit ourselves just to orange and pink for the moment.
Orange and pink. Well, you can win the game twice with the Living to Love.
That's yeah. Well, okay. I suppose yes. You must still pay the cost is important because if it's any trigger that requires exhausting the friend, then you can't copy it.
No, because you would need to exhaust the friend twice.
Oh, and it is friends only as well. So triggers on your main don't work.
No, but like triggers on the main are usually quite powerful and happen often.
Mm-hmm. So what's a good example? Orange has some triggers that will flip you extra cards, I think.
So
wait, chaos abilities are like always triggers, right?
yeah.
Well, not necessarily.
Mostly triggers,
Mostly
yeah.
triggers, yes.
So you can definitely use it for chaos abilities.
Sorry, if you had an example that you were going to say.
Nope.
Okay. There's the Applejack from... Oof, which one was it? Not Leaders, I think. Or wait, no, yes.
What
Leaders
does
and
she do?
Legends. I don't remember. I just remember it's an ultra rare where it's just a very, very big close up on Applejack's face. And it's something
Is it the
about
one where you can like Earth ponies?
something like that, I think.
She puts, I think, a power counter on all of the Earth ponies.
Yeah, something like that. Let me just find
We
the
also have a orange Unity card which puts a power counter on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So copying that is pretty good.
Big Breakfast. That's the card I was thinking about. Yes. This card enters play. Put a +1 power counter on each of your other Earth 20 friends. Yes. So you would. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, the power counters that go on her aren't a trigger. It's a continuous modifier. Unfortunately.
You can speed up the doubling power of Rookhoof.
Yes. Wait.
No, you still need to meet the condition after every trigger.
Okay. You knew immediately what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Okay, fair enough.
Because it copies the entire trigger, which includes all of the conditions.
Includes the condition text. Fair enough. And that trigger won't process until the first one's processed already. Okay, fair enough. But
Well, we
wait,
can process them in any order, but
right? But doesn't it look at the game state as it was when when the trigger was created?
not for triggers. No, I don't think so.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or at least not when you like check the conditions.
The GP, the card we're talking about right now is Rakov. Yeah, and well, I would have to assume this conversation's already been had in the beta, and that's why you're so sure about it.
Me? No, I don't think I saw a conversation like that. But like, you can see that trigger, like the copy, the definition of copy is the read the text again, basically.
Right.
And the Rockhoof's text includes the condition that there must be a friend. And triggers don't like the. Actually, let me double check the Rokuf.
Yeah, because the thing that I'm considering for those listening in is like if there is some interaction. I remember reading somewhere in the rules that like certain things that require game state information, like kind of check it.
Okay. So if Rokuf said like when there's a character that has higher power, double this power, then copying that would do that again, I'm pretty sure. Because the trigger condition is having a character of higher power, right? But trigger condition of Rokuf is at the start of your turn.
There we go. Yes.
And the rest of them is the condition of the ability to actually process.
Correct.
So the Rokuf wouldn't double the power twice unless there's still a character with higher power.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So let me see. What else? Well, I mean, yeah. There are a lot of great enters play stuff. That Trixie was purple pink.
Which one? Oh yeah, the one that portals stuff. Yeah. I mean, you can venture into 3 colors. It's not that
hard.
If you go into 3 colors, you could copy Orchid Blossom's effect.
Ooh.
And Orchid Blossom is when you play this card, but that doesn't matter because you copy the you obviously don't have to play the card twice.
Yeah. Like any enters play condition will necessarily work with this effect.
Yeah, but that includes when you play this card, which is like it's not just enter plays.
Yes,
it's even better.
That's true. Thank you.
So what we really need is main 6 again. Oh, I guess copying main 6 doesn't do anything. Oh well. I mean, the band main 6.
Yeah, of course. You totally would, just for the swag, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, well, another super cool little piece of text. Another one that I'm sure there's something amazing that you can do with it that we both missed.
Imagine if Featherbanks wasn't banned.
Oh my goodness. In the same colors as this too.
Yeah, exactly. So good.
That may be a good reason why Featherbanks is gotten rid of.
Hashtag unbun Featherbanks.
Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, in Nightmare there are lots of other things that can win faster, but
yeah,
Living to Laugh can still go super fast in Nightmare then.
Yeah, you get what you discard 8 cards, drew new 8 cards, discard them as well, get new 8 more cards. That's 16 cards for 480.
And you've got 16
pretty good
Earth Pony tokens in play now.
Yeah, and hopefully you got another mirror pool in one of those cards, so you play it and dismiss the exhausted one because it's unique, and then you do it again. Yeah, there's Gabby as well. There's also hold on, I need to check another Gabby, which draws you cards when you don't have a lot of cards.
Yes, good point. That one.
That's what's her text sounds like. I need to see. No, that one has the same problem as Rockroof. Never mind.
Anyway, just like the last one.
Yeah,
and this is good. We all love, or at least around here, we all love cards that invite this amount of speculation, and there's got to be some way to break this.
This is Journey's stream now.
Yeah.
Or, well, it always was.
It's just obvious now. We're not even trying to hide it.
No.
Okay. Next card. Yes, I remember seeing this name. Demotivational Speech. Interesting. Cost 1 for flip. Play on your main character. This card enters play. Choose 2 different colors. Main character has those colors and -1 power. That is interesting. So it's double entry. Very specifically built, I'm sure, because if you play this at the start of the game, well, either
You're
you
not going to
have
have fun.
yeah. I mean, if you have Buckball in play, that's the one, right? The one that gives you +1 power.
Yes.
Yeah. Then then you have something at least that I know you have 1 in 3 colors, but if you don't have that, then yeah, this is actually just soft locking yourself.
So you won't do that, right?
I would love to find a way that is somehow a good thing to do. But yeah,
Having a main character with 0 power. I mean, good luck.
right. Yeah. Now, as Prism Light mentions in the chat, Rogar, very good.
Yep.
You have 2
Student
rec.
6 is really good.
Student 6 is very good. Yes. Oh, wait a second. How does Student 6's text work again?
It's for every color in the game, you pay 1 less to flip that card.
Yeah.
So with this
So
card, it'll be 3 colors.
It may be correct to get your main down to 0 power with Student 6 then.
Yes, I mean, right before you flip them, though.
Right
but
before
yes.
you flip them, but yes. Anyway, but yeah, clearly very good for any deck that's trying to go for a 3 or more color strategy.
Mm-hmm. But the drawback is actually, I think, bigger than you might think, because usually a flipped main means that you have access to free Rex. But with this card, that's not the case anymore, which is, I think, a big thing to consider.
Right.
That even if your main character is flipped, the most you're going to get just from main character is 2 Rec.
You do have to be very careful about the requirement curve of your
Yes.
multicolor deck, which, to be fair, you had to be careful about requirement curve in multicolor decks anyway.
Yeah, but this card makes you changes the way you might think about building your deck.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it is a very interesting card because of that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's more interesting than your regular motivational speech.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, your main is just the color. Good.
Yeah, and is this the first explicitly? Well, no, I guess not. Okay. Explicitly, let me finish that sentence. Explicitly supporting tricolor and up kind of synergies. Like we had what was
we
the
had
card?
the changeling.
That 1 power changeling. Blanking on the name.
His name was starting on S.
Flarite.
Yeah, there we go. I gave you the piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sclerite, but before that, it was mostly, I mean, Barrel. You can kind of think about Barrel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, this is does everything the tricolor deck would want, but yes, has that very important restriction on it. Well, not a restriction per se, a drawback.
Yeah. But to be fair, 2 colors is often enough to play a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can play any of the tricolor songs with just this card.
Absolutely.
And the flip main.
Yep.
And usually when you play 3 colors, you try to not go for super high Rex, because it's going to be hard to get them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So the main character having 2 power might not be that big of a deal. Although your primary color also goes down with your main.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting entry.
Absolutely. Yeah. Really, really cool design, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Which, well, I mean, I've seen a lot of cool design this set so far. So, good.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Next card.
there's another
Oh,
one. Yeah. Well, sorry.
you
Oh,
mean another
yes.
card?
Another
There's
card.
like 3 more of them.
Well, there's 3 more. I know the last 2 are problems, and yeah, this is the one before the problems. Yes. Iron Will, cash grab, 7 flip, 3 points. Ho ho. Those are big numbers already for a troublemaker. Prepared and immediate. Pay 2 AT to reduce this card's point value. 2 to the end of the turn. Ooh, interesting. So prepared only triggers when the opponent starts to face off, right?
Yes, which
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
troublemaker.
There are ways to do it. But yes. So, and if you've got 4 AT, well, 4 AT to reduce it to 0, kind of a
Yeah, I think
more
that's a little.
questionable investment. Yeah.
Yeah,
But to pay 2 AT to prevent your opponent from scoring 2 points is a pretty big deal.
yeah. I think that's always worth it. Like, I don't think there is a situation where you wouldn't spend this 2 AT.
I mean, if by saving 2 AT you guarantee yourself a win next turn or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, but it's like it has to be like
Mhm.
those 2 AT must be worth a lot for you to not to use this ability.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it could be like when your opponent is like 5 points and you're like 13, maybe yes, but in general, I think it's an ability you try to use as much as you can.
Yeah.
But prepared helps you with that.
Yeah, it does. Right? So like it's even if like if your opponent's going to beat this the normal way, then you only have to be saving 1 AT to guarantee
Yes.
that you have enough to use it.
I mean, if your opponent is so the ways to not trigger prepared on this card is cards like Epic Win, which score points immediately, right?
Mhm.
But in that case, you don't have a chance to use the second ability anyway because they just defeat the troublemaker right away. You don't have the priority even. And the second way is cards that start a face-off specifically with troublemaker. Uh, those it's just one card against the troublemaker. In those cases, the face-off happens nowhere, so prepare doesn't trigger.
Mhm.
But those are like the only 2 ways.
Also of note is the Spitfire from last set.
The
Uh,
disables troublemaker abilities, right?
no, the one that you retire blue friends to auto defeat troublemakers.
Oh yeah, but that's like Epic Win.
Well, yes. Just
But I guess it is proactive, yeah.
make note of it. That was in the last set.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a 7 power troublemaker. So, okay, if you want to evaluate this card more statically, you could interpret it then as a 7 power 1-point troublemaker that costs 3 AT to play. Well, actually, no. Well, given the fact that the prepared is kind of might trigger, might not,
So
say 2.5 AT.
well, the thing with prepared is it could trigger multiple times. If they fail to defeat the troublemaker, you don't have to use the ability. Like, I
Right.
think this card can generate a lot of value, especially in a control deck.
Right.
GP mentions, I believe, challenge troublemaker with all your characters that its problem qualifies. So yes, when the ability says challenge the troublemaker with like one of your characters, then the face-off happens nowhere, or start to face off with one of your characters. But when it says with all of the characters at that problem, then the face-off happens at that problem and prepare triggers. So it'll be maybe a nice free FAQ entry
Mhm.
on which face-off trigger prepared and which face-offs don't, because it's more or less clear with from face-offs between the friends, but it's less clear with troublemakers, I think.
So, what you do is you put behind enemy, you use behind enemy lines to put this at the same problem with that Grogar or Tirek that forces the opponent to challenge it.
Oh, Sneaky.
And then I guess you still have to do something to like force an opponent's friend to be at that problem.
What this card needed is immediate pay 2 AT to increase this card's point value by 2. Then you put the Alicorn Amulet on it and win the game.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, really cool card.
Ethiopia mentions explosions. I think that's a problem that reduces Troublemaker point value, right, by 1.
Oh, yes. Cool mares don't look at explosions, yes.
So yeah, that's a really good card to have for this card, because then the point value is 0, and the 0.7 power Troublemaker is not fun to fight against.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so with the exit of Mimics, there is, to some extent, a bit of a dearth of really impactful Troublemakers that aren't epics.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty clear that that's the kind of niche that this card's trying to fill. That kind of will slide into that area without being as extremely annoying and, well, honestly, toxic as Mimics was.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But yeah, I think this is a quite powerful Troublemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see this card being run in control decks, and that's mostly because of prepared. Like I think this card didn't have prepared, it'll be so much worse. But having prepared on Troublemaker, I think, is
Big
quite
deal.
powerful. Yes.
Players are already sort of reluctant to challenge Troublemakers until they feel like they have a pretty good chance of winning. That's even more to say, like, even if, okay, they're not challenging, therefore you're not getting the IT, they're not challenging, and that's, you want them to not challenge the Troublemaker.
Yeah. But like giving your opponent AT when you challenge a Troublemaker can be a really big deal. Like, at least in my experience, like when you play against some sort of control deck, right, and they have a prepared friend at the problem, you usually like think twice before challenging the Troublemaker, even if you can defeat it.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So yeah, really cool card.
Absolutely. See some good innovation in the Troublemaker space. As mentioned, 2 problems to finish us off. And they're both part of the not blue plus wild style.
Yeah. So we've seen pink and orange before, right? So this time it's blue.
Did we see the not pink plus wild orange? Or problem?
Orange was the one where you like where opponents discard, like it was something with this.
Yeah.
And the pink one, I don't remember.
Thought the pink problem we saw was not it wasn't a not pink plus wild problem. It was a pink plus wild problem, I think. Or a pink plus not pink problem, perhaps?
I'll check that.
Anyway, this one. 6 wild to the opponent, 3 not blue, and 2 wild to you. During a face-off here, you pay 1 AT less to play your first card during that face-off. So, similarly to what we saw with orange, it is an ability that synergizes very well with blue, because blue has a lot of hasty stuff, and immediates that you would want to play during face-offs, because it is a face-off focused color that strictly requires you to have something that's not blue there.
No, I wouldn't agree that it's strictly synergized with blue. I think there's a lot of other colors that synergize with it.
True. Pink has a lot of hasty stuff too.
I mean, control decks.
Purple has a lot of immediates that it wants to play during face-offs, yes.
Yeah. Farm.
Yes.
Like, I think there's a lot of applications of this card outside of blue. And unlike the orange card, it's like very clear how you would use this card in other colors. At least I know a lot of things come to mind. Because a lot of colors love to play cards during face-offs.
Face-offs are a pretty fundamental element of the game, and so let's say every color has some kind of
Yeah, definitely.
so as opposed to discards are a much more restrictive kind of thing.
Okay, so the card we saw was pink plus not pink. So you're right.
Right. So yeah, at 5 to you, 6 to the opponent. That's relatively good. Relatively good stat line.
Mhm.
Not amazing, but pretty good. And especially if you are likely to save an AT for it.
I mean, 5 power to confront is not that much power, so like, it's easy to confront. And 6 for the opponent is at that place where it's not super low, but it's not high either.
Right. The only way to do it with one character is either main plus stick or be playing orange, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. So yes, 6 is like that middle power that I would say, like middle ground power, because 7 is already
Yeah,
like in the
7 is
high
starting
side,
to get up into control territory.
and
Yeah.
5 is kind of low.
Mhm.
So 6 is the middle ground between those two. But yeah, interesting problem. I can definitely see myself using it.
For sure, yeah.
Full power Discord can solo this. Which Discord? Oh, is it the one that has 6 power but like has power reduced for something from Absolute Discord? I think that's the card.
Well, that one was it has 7 printed and then -3 while in play.
Oh, it was -3 while in player. That's right.
I think no, yeah. He's referring to the backside of Grogar when you've got all your stuff in the discard pile, or like the Discord that's on the back of Grogar has some text that increases its power, right? It counts the banished stuff, I think, maybe.
Let me check. I'm blanking.
Yeah, sorry. Orange. Yes, +1 power for each card type among cards in your banished zone.
Oh, so can Mod then, right? Because they kind of have the same ability.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mod even easier because she's base power 3.
Oh yeah, that's true. Wait, do we have 5 card types? It's a silly question, but can't Mod only go up to 7?
Friends, resources,
Friends, resources, troublemakers,
events.
That's 4. Do we have a 5th one?
Problems can't go into the discard pile.
Not anymore, at least.
Yeah, as sad as we all are about that. Main characters can't leave play. Oh yeah, I believe we are 4.
So yeah, so now Discord can't do that. Haha.
Well, 4.
4 plus 1 is 5.
He can solo confront the 5
Oh, he can
power
solo
side.
confront.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he can solo confront its own side. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the opponent's side.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, he can solo confront this, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I was just gonna move us on to the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the purple one. Not quite the exact same. 6 to the opponent, 3 plus 3 to you. At the start of a face-off, each opponent banishes the top card of their deck. So, good against chaos decks. Well, kind of. If they've got immediate speed set the top card of their deck, then it's not.
Yeah.
Which,
but
most.
I think this card is cleverest one as far as synergy with the color that is disallowed goes.
Interesting.
Because putting things on top of the opponent's deck is really purple thing to do. We have Napcakes. We have all the cards that are like Napcakes. We have Sunset Shimmer, Clever Calculator, so on.
Yeah.
But outside of purple,
I mean, the discard the discord we were just talking about synergizes with stuff getting banished. Outside of purple, well, I guess white orange being the mill colors, but this isn't a very effective mill.
no, it's at the start of the face-off. I mean,
Well,
banishing cards from the top is just like okay in general.
it's admittedly not like at the start of a face-off here or anything. It is just at the start
Oh
of
yeah,
a
any
face-off.
face-off.
So if you can start lots of face-offs,
Say 45 of them.
well, I mean, opening hand of 6 cards, right? So 39.
Oh yeah, true.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite easily able to see any really good things that can be done here.
Well, outside of purple.
Outside of purple, yeah, again, if you're in purple, oh great. There are lots of ways you can put stuff on top of the opponent's deck right before the face-off and then banish it.
But then again, the color requirement on this problem, like even though it says not purple, it doesn't mean you can't play purple. Like this card is no different from a card that would say like free purple plus free not purple, right? If you're playing purple.
Pretty much, yeah.
In a way, it's better because you don't always need to have purple. So yeah, and like multicolor cards exist, and existence of multicolor cards really help to confront problems like this. Like you could have, I don't know, 2 free power blue purple cards. That's enough to confront this problem.
That works just fine.
So yeah, while it is hard to find applications of this card outside of purple, inside of purple there's lots of them. You can still run it.
Yeah. It is just like all of these kind of, well, maybe less so the last one, but many of these not color cards. It just requires you to think a little bit about whether it is truly a good inclusion for your deck or not, which is good. Problems should be that way, honestly.
Also, a friendly reminder that there's always another problem you can confront.
That is true. That is very true. Potentially more than one.
Yeah, like like control decks usually don't like start face-offs, and like blackmail has 6 white on it. That didn't stop people from running it in non-white decks.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you got troublemakers out, well, again, generally speaking, these days the opponent isn't going to start 3 or 4 or 5 face-offs against the same troublemaker.
Yeah,
but still, it's a good source of having having face-offs that.
Well, this is any face-off, so it doesn't have to be troubling. Like stick is already a thing that triggers that every time, and like with stick, it's a guaranteed card removal, like stick plus napcakes or napcakes-like card.
Exactly. Yep.
That said, usually like napcakes and cards like that are usually like enough removal of its own. So how valuable is to actually banish the card you're putting on top of the deck is also a question.
Fair point. Well, I mean, if it's a card with a chaos ability, or well, I mean, the chaos ability is still gonna fire.
Well, like you can remove what's his name, Brian. Usually Brian is the one who gives you problems when you put him on top of the deck because he just immediately comes back.
Yeah. But it is definitely worth pointing out that of all the colors that are okay with running a problem that they can't necessarily confront, purple is probably one of the best of them.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay, this is our 13 cards.
That's all our 13 cards. We're a little bit short of a 90-minute stream. That's a pretty good length of it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was.
All of the cards were really cool, I think.
I would probably agree with that.
So yeah, more cool cards to come.
I sure hope so. And well, the way that things have been going, it seems reasonable to assume so. We were told at the last stream that this is a big set, right? Like
Yes.
more on the scope of Equestrian Odysseys compared to some like, I don't know, Marks and Time was relatively small, I guess. So we'll have good source material for these for a while yet, one assumes.
Mm-hmm. And I believe not all of the cards are in the set. Like Wave 5 doesn't contain the entire set yet, as far as I'm aware.
Ah, I see.
But I might be wrong. I'm not sure.
Okay.
JP can correct me on that.
Well, yeah, we're at something like 25, 26 that we've done on already so far.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And presumably, well, presumably, based on the assumption that that first card we looked at was one of a cycle, which I think is a relatively safe assumption, would imply that the other 5 are probably a little bit less interesting. Although maybe,
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. So
yeah, well, we probably won't go through every single card until the entire set review stream.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah, I gotta start preparing you for it. It's
it's true. It's true. But anyway, we'll have sources and material for a while yet. Is the point? So yeah, that does bring us to the end of our material for this stream. However, if you missed a part of it and you'd like to go back and watch it or see any of our past content, our YouTube channel is in there in the chat. This video will the VOD for this stream will be going public Monday at 12:30 or what? No, 12 noon's what I put it for, noon Central Time. While there, feel free to give us a subscription or whatever if you feel like it. Otherwise, our next stream is going to be 2 weeks from now on the 24th, where we will have more of this, probably.
Yeah. Just cards for now.
Until then, I've been Cursor Chords.
And I've been Hithroc.
And we will see you then.
Bye.